Hey everybody, welcome to Moment of Clarity. Let's get into the United Kingdom, which is not so united. They're looking to leave, right? The big Brexit fight. They want to leave the European Union. You know, I had always thought that the UK kind of had their shit together a little bit. I think I was completely confused on that front. I think I was misled by the number of bow ties they had on. I thought if you've got that many bow ties, you're doing something right? You got shit together a little bit, but no. Now they've put some sort of furry marmot of some sort as their prime minister. And look, all right, he wasn't elected at all. I'll get to that in a second. But okay, Boris Johnson, as you all know, favorite name for a Russian penis, Boris Johnson, has gone to the Queen. He just became prime minister. He's gone to the Queen and he's asked to suspend Parliament for a period of a couple of weeks or something, so that he can likely force through a no-deal Brexit, which means separating from the European Union, and all of these details about how that works, trade and finances, economies, all these things that are interlocked like a massive fucked up orgy of sorts. All that shit's together, and they would just cut it off without even figuring out all of that shit, and it would be a mess. And that's what Boris Johnson is hoping to do. He wants to force through a no-deal Brexit. And so he's gone to the Queen. Yeah, the fucking Queen. A, still alive. B, there's still a Queen. He's gone to the Queen, and she has to approve his... It's called prorogation of the Parliament, and she did. The Queen's Privy Council approved. Yeah, Privy Council. What the fuck year is it? The move has been met with a lot of backlash. There's been protests. There's thousands of people on the street. You might be watching this a couple of days from now. I imagine there's protests probably still going on. And it's very confusing as to what will happen next. Parliament comes back in a few days, at which point I think they get a couple of days before the suspension begins or something. But anyway, at that point, they may have a vote of no confidence on Boris Johnson, and if he wins that, meaning they do have confidence. You have my confidence. Then he will force through a no-deal Brexit. If he loses it, then it's confusing as to what happens at that point. Anyway, there's a lot of ups and downs here. But something you should realize is that there's like no democracy involved in any of this. Should I sit in the sun? Because the shadow across the face was starting to piss me off. Like, it's kind of a David Bowie makeup look. Like, lightning ball across. Anyway. There's no democracy involved in this. Boris Johnson was not elected to prime minister. It was like it was 1% of the population of Tories put him in to place as prime minister. So he's not elected prime minister. The British people did not elect him to prime minister. The fucking monarchy isn't elected, of course, because what going to a queen, no matter how old she is, let's pretend she's not 900 years old, going to a queen to ask for advice on a modern day politics, it's like running your electric car on a butter churn. You're like, yes, hook up the butter churn and that's how this run. These are completely different. These don't, all right. They don't go together. Honestly, it is so fucking antiquated that Britain has a monarchy, has a... What? Oh, it's royal blood. They have the blood of royals. What the fuck does that mean? What is that? I would almost respect it more if you said they were gods. If you said, oh, like it's like Zeus and, and Poseidon and the Queen. I would respect that more, because at least then you're like, yeah, I'm loony on all fronts. And also the Queen. Instead, they're trying to tell us, no, we are a civilized society, and this person was birthed into royal blood. What the fuck? That's important question here. If a mosquito bites the ass of the prince and gets royal blood in, is that now a royal mosquito? Is that like if a leech? Have they ever put a leech on a tiny little royal throne because there's royal blood in it? Like where does because this is it's fucking sacred blood. It's special blood. It's, the only thing passed down in the royal family is incest. It's not as not incest isn't, but poor genetic material is passed down in the royal family. It's so fucking antiquated. So the Queen has approved the suspension, and now people are rightfully protesting. They're fucking furious that this is going on, and their leaders, their heads of state, are doing all of this without democracy, which is. It's hilarious on another level because I was always amazed that the Brexit vote even happened. Because here in the U.S., we never have referendums of that scale. When was the last time our government said, hey, we're just going to put it up to the vote of the American people as to whether they want to still be a part of the central banking system? I'd love to see those votes. They fucking don't let us vote on that. They don't let us vote on hardly anything. And when we do vote for something, like we did here in Washington, D.C., we voted, there's a referendum, there's a ballot initiative on whether to give servers in the serving community a minimum wage of like $6 an hour, or $8 an hour, or something. It was a minor amount of money. Because right now it's $2 an hour. If you're in a tipping profession, it's $2 an hour, and we had a debate as to whether a referendum ballot initiative as to whether to give them a regular minimum wage. And it won. Oh my goodness, the servers are gonna get a minimum wage. Fucking happy doo-dah. But then the DC fucking elected officials were like, yeah, that whole referendum thing, we're getting paid a lot by the corporations that hire those servers. So no, not doing it. Fuck you. See, that's how our ballot initiatives work. So how in England and the UK did they get to vote on Brexit? Anyway, that's a side issue. But the other thing is, so like I said, outside of the vote on Brexit, there's been no democracy in this at all. Boris Johnson not elected, Queen not elected, like doing a no-deal Brexit not voted on. So there's been like no democracy. So doesn't that mean that it is time for the United States to invade the UK? Isn't that what we do, right? Don't we? We always point to these countries. We say they don't have democracy. We got to invade them. Iraq, right? We got to bring them democracy. Got to bring them freedom. Venezuela, we claim, doesn't have democracy, even though their elections are far more legitimate than ours are. But we claim they don't have democracy. We gotta go in there. We gotta economically crush them. We gotta kill a lot of people and bring them democracy. We gotta infect them with our democracy STDs. So I would like to put it forward right now. It's time for us to invade the UK to bring them democracy. Our little gift to you. And as you can, if you look down the list, if you pull up the list and read it, every time we've gone into a country to bring them democracy, it has gone great. And then we went along our way. We said, you're welcome, enjoy your democracy, and we're out, right? Mic drop, went on about our way. The United States, we are known for bringing freedom and democracy, and then letting the people live their lives and minding our own business. That's what we're known for, right? I think. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I made all that shit up just now. Maybe we're kind of the opposite. Maybe we kind of go in and crush countries and then say, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so obviously a lot of updates coming on this, but there's massive protests. Hashtag stop the coup is what people are using in the UK. If you're there, be safe. Good luck with your protest, which by the way, mainstream media covering the Hong Kong protests far more than the protests in the UK or Britain, because our corporate elite, our mainstream, they support trying to, wreak havoc in China. They don't support wreaking havoc in other countries like France or Britain. So they don't like to talk about those protests. Only the ones they're supporting and fostering. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't genuine protesters in Hong Kong. I don't want to say there's not. There's plenty of them, and they have legitimate grievances. But that's why you probably won't hear as much. Maybe if the British protests get big enough, you'll hear more on our mainstream media about it. If you leave a comment under this thing, you'll be entered to win a free download of my comedy special at LeeCampComedySpecial.com. So leave a comment. Also, I'm coming to perform in Toronto, Los Angeles, Ventura, California, Milwaukee, and Madison, Wisconsin. All of those are at LeeCamp.com. Click the schedule tab. And Los Angeles is in just a couple of weeks, and Ventura. Los Angeles is nearly sold out. I think there's 30 tickets left, or 25 or something. So grab your tickets. I hope to see you soon. Keep fighting.